Fight with brawn, magic, and inventions in this exciting top-down action adventure game. While casually watching TV, Mr. Fox, the protagonist, is attacked and knocked unconscious by some dastardly foes, and he awakens to find his prized remote control taken, and sets off to defeat the enemies and take back what's his. Upgrade your spells, weapons, and abilities, and fight the mad scientist behind all the chaos. And if this sounds like a blast, then let's get into why this game, Trifox, might be the next one added to your wishlist. As you venture forth on your adventure to get back your remote control, you'll travel to 3 different locations, and each one will have multiple levels, and each area has a specific villain that you'll need to defeat all the subsequently previous missions in that particular area to fight. It's very reminiscent of classic 3D platformers structure like a Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, where they have like these portals, and you defeat. The more you defeat, eventually you'll get to that villain, and then proceed on to the next area. Very much feel of that style. It's a classic style, and I kind of enjoyed the little bit of nostalgia I felt from playing through that kind of story structure. Now, I will say the character and art style of the game is a bit rough around the edges. The characters are kind of blocky. While I felt like the environment was pretty fitting, it felt pretty nice and a little bit more refined. Then the animation seemed solid for the most part, with usually kind of cutscene type scenarios felt a little bit off. Especially there's these broadcasts between missions that you'd see these little actors and interacting with the chaos that's going on, and it just felt a little bit clunky. But onto the music, I thought the music just kind of fit the game properly. It wasn't like exceptional, but it wasn't bad either. I thought it did a solid job. Now, the gameplay, I felt the game offered kind of a wide variety of attacks, spells, and abilities to choose from, and there was 3 different special trees to go into, and the 3 were warrior, mage, and engineer, and each one had like 10 abilities in each tree, and I thought it was a fair amount of abilities and a little bit of just mix and match. You can have 5 total abilities at one time. I usually went with a dash and 4 different of the other type abilities. But you just kind of make a combo for what's best for you. And I like that kind of idea of customization. I did find a couple of the abilities to be a bit weak in comparison to others, and I'd kind of avoid certain ones. But after a little bit of testing, I found what was appropriate for me, and ultimately I really enjoyed a mage engineer build where I had magic spells and like turrets where I could take stuff out from afar and just kind of deal with foes at a distance rather than fighting up close with like a hammer. And throughout the levels, I thought they had some decent platforming and some simple puzzles to kind of proceed and push forward through the level, and it gave you the option to kind of search for these extra chests or find these hidden gems that are in these chests to collect, and at the end of the map it would show you all that you've collected. And overall, I thought the level design was pretty decent. You know, I had some interesting bosses and map designs, especially later on in the game, I quite enjoyed. And I found the difficulty to be pretty fair. It did have a slight ramp up towards the end where it got a bit more difficult, but I feel like a game should kind of have that kind of slow build up. But what was really helpful for me was the autosave. If I got to like a certain section of the boss, it would autosave to that specific section or at the particular gauntlet in the level. But overall, I felt that it was pretty well balanced with the gameplay. And I did run into a few bugs while I was playing, but overall it was very minor and nothing major. Last but not least, overall, I thought Trifox was a solid top-down action-adventure game that took around 6 to 8 hours to complete and had some extras that I could go back to, unlocking more abilities or finding those secret gems. But it was a simple, straightforward story, interesting little kind of rough style with some solid music to go with it. Gameplay solid with a host of abilities to customize and choose from, but I do think a little bit of tuning kind of needed for some of the abilities. But I had a pretty solid time playing through the game. You know, it wasn't exceptional, but it wasn't bad either, and I just enjoyed my time with it. I could definitely recommend it if you're kind of a fan of those old Spyro or Crash Bandicoot type games. And so let's drop it in the meter, and I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Take care, everybody, and hope you guys have a great day. See ya.